we left you in Graceland.
Yes.
So let's get into another episode of
RunAway Routes.
When we were leaving Graceland, I have a quick connect for the air brake line, and it was starting to act up a little bit. So it's very important that before you start rolling, even if you've connected and disconnected tons of times, I like to make sure I check everything. And one of the things that happened was once we tested everything, connected everything, and goes in the back, we do the lights to make sure the signals are working. Ours are reversed at this point.
Still.
That is fixed now, but at this point, you left turn, right turn on the Jeep, right turn, left turn on the Jeep, but that's fine. But I also hit the brake on the thing to see that the brake lights work. And that's when the air brake line popped right off the thing. But if she wasn't back there checking that, we wouldn't have known.
Right.
So it was an easy fix. I just hadn't really gotten it connected and covered it up. Super easy to fix, but I wouldn't have had the air brake line going if we didn't check everything and then double check it before we rolled out. So that was good. Then we were rolling out and heading to a Harvest Host, and this is one of the reasons why I love Harvest Host. We would have never found this place, and to me it is a hidden gem in a tiny little town. So we picked it mainly because we were headed to New Orleans, so during our route it would have fit perfect for distance. And when we heard it, I was like, oh, that sounds pretty good. It's the
B.B. King Museum,
and it's in Indianola,
Mississippi.
I always want to say Missouri. Mississippi.
Because that is where he was from.
Right. That was he was born at a little town just outside Indianola. To him, Indianola was the big city growing up until he, became a musician and found out that Memphis was much bigger than Indianola. But this museum is world class, top notch.
It's awesome.
It was so great. We got there in time. We got set up. They had us park in the parking lot back a little bit. We did have to disconnect because we had to back the RV in. But we put the Jeep right in front. Worked out great. Then we got into the tour in time before it closed. And wow.
And we were lucky. Actually, one thing I'll bring up that was kind of a funny story is there was an Airstream that was parked there, and they had done the tour, loved it, and I'd gone in to check in. And she overheard, the woman from the Airstream overheard, and she's like, oh, this is a Harvest Host? They didn't realize they had Harvest Host, and they didn't look into it to stay there. So the nice thing for us was they did their tour and left, so we were able to take their spot. Not like there wasn't another spot we could have parked in.
But it was a much easier spot to park in.
For us, for our Class A.
So,
you just never know what you might find for a Harvest Host.
Absolutely. And they're still doing, at the time we were there, they were still had other plans built. So his grave is there. It's right now in an outdoor pavilion, but they're building a building over the grave. So by this point it could be done. I don't know. But just a really super friendly everybody there.
Oh, the staff was amazing. They were very nice, friendly. Knew about the Harvest Host program, so it wasn't like they had to call somebody. We've had that happen before too.
What are you talking about?
I'm sure many of you have.
Why is your RV in our parking lot?
Right. What are you doing here? But no, it was great. It was it was easy to walk around. It was like an easy path to follow through its history, and it's very interactive. A lot of music, a lot of other people too. Yeah,
and they even had like his old office set up.
How it was set up.
Which was really cool. I mean, behind plexiglass, but still really cool.
Did you mention you'll put the video?
I didn't.
Okay.
Thank you. For you, I will put the video up there and down below so you can watch and see what we're talking about.
Exactly. But no, it was great. It was a great overnight. There's a little cafe restaurant across the street to check out.
Yeah, that was really, and that's in the episode. One thing I will say is we have a navigation system, Samantha. You've heard me talk about Samantha many times. Samantha wants to take you on the most direct route that's good for your RV, but the most direct route. That meant coming down this little main street full of overhanging trees that ended up right at the museum.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. Prior to that turn is a big gas station which has diesel for trucks and stuff like that. Turn there and then go down to the next road, and then you'll come in parallel to
to make your easier left.
It's so much easier to get into the museum parking lot. We couldn't make, like, it would have been a quick S-turn. No way I could have made it hooked up. So I had to go past it, go into like a truck area, unhook.
Right.
You took the Jeep in. I waited till you found out where I was parking.
If you have a Class A, or any very large RV, especially if you're towing, that's a tip, is maybe look on Google Maps first and just see the overhead shot to see what you're looking at, especially with a harvest host. Most campgrounds you're fine, but harvest hosts, they're not meant to have big Class A's coming through their entrance, and you don't know how it's going to look. So just want to be prepared for what it will be like. And
we learned from there on out to not only look at the harvest host, but the satellite, so that when I saw what Samantha was taking us, Anne would say, yeah, you're going to actually turn here, and she'll recalculate, and she'll make it up.
Yes.
So from overall, though, if you're in Indianola area, even if you're not going to stay there at the harvest host, go to the B.B. King Museum.
Yes, it is
awesome
well
place.
worth it, for sure.
Worth every dollar.
Next, we were still in Mississippi, in Clinton, Mississippi.
Still heading south.
So we stayed at the Spring Ridge Mobile Estates and RV Park.
So what I remember about this one was it was a lot of annual residents.
Right, so a lot of
more of a
structures.
Mobile park.
Yes.
So the spot for...
It is in the name.
It is. They do tell you.
It is in the name.
The spots for you are right behind the check-in building.
Right.
Down below the pool, there's a bunch of kind of pull-through spots.
A little tight for us.
A little narrow.
Yeah.
The length was a little tight, but well enough, but it was
and
just...
then bring your slides out.
The slides issue.
It's a little concerning, too. So it wasn't a packed park when we were there, so that probably helped us out a lot.
But it's not even just like the one side of our slide, there was like bushes.
Right.
So it was like me getting into the water connections and stuff like that. It was just tight.
And then
not
leaving
horrible.
Too is not the easiest to
a couple
maneuver.
Of tighter turns, but I mean, I think now that it's a year later,
it helps.
It would be easier for me.
Right.
I mean, we were still relatively new at that point. Fine for an overnight, though.
There's fast food like right outside the park too, so you wouldn't have to.
Yeah, we ate in, but you could walk up to it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So that was nice. But again, nice long driveway in and out, close to the freeway.
Yes.
That's pretty much what we were doing it for. Rates were good. So from there we went on to...
Ooh, we're headed to New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Louisiana.
So that was our destination after Nashville and Memphis, was to get to New Orleans, because neither of us had been.
Right. Now, we didn't stay in New Orleans, and we've watched a lot of channels where people stay at, there's like a certain park that's in New Orleans to stay at.
Yeah, very close like to Bourbon Street and stuff.
Place, which is fine to stay at, but we did a little more research, and we found Reunion Lake RV Resort in Robert, Louisiana.
Yeah.
It is so worth it because it's less than an hour drive.
Yeah, it was just about 40 minutes over this long, like 20-mile bridge.
Right.
But it was, make sure you have full tank of gas before and after. You don't want to be on a breakdown on that one.
No.
But the park was phenomenal. I even featured it in our New Orleans episode.
Yes.
So
check that out.
Check that out. But really, I mean, long paved spots. Beautiful. I mean, there was a Jack in the Box or something. I can't even remember what it was. Sonic, right outside. It felt like it was part of the park. Yeah. So
there's
gas
a gas station. Yeah.
I mean, it was really, there was the supermarket was about 20 minutes away.
Right.
Because we had to restock with groceries by that point. But we were there for...
And we got there, like, it was kind of down season. So there had just been a college football game. So I think we got there on a Saturday or Sunday. It had to have been a Saturday if there was college football.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, the park was just, there was not a lot of RVs there.
No, and by Monday, they were gone.
And this is a destination resort. I mean, there are nice pools. There's a little lake. I mean, there's great activities for kids and adults as well.
During high season, they've got a lazy river. They have boat paddle boat rentals and game room. I mean, to the nines.
Right. But it was still, again, it's still not a hard drive to get into New Orleans, and I
felt a little bit more relaxed that after touring New Orleans. I felt more relaxed at Reunion Lake. With sit out in our chairs, watch the sunset on the lake. And it was just. I loved it. Even if I'm going back to New Orleans, I would stay here again and just deal with the drive.
And getting your mail when you're full time in an RV. Some places charge you, some places will say no, but they were fantastic. I mean,
I had to get a new pressure regulator delivered.
Right, and no issues.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the last RunAway Routes from Nashville.
Well, that was it for this RunAway Routes. Where were we headed to from here?
Texas?
Yes.
50-50 shot. 50-50. So thank you very much. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe.
Yes.
And then you can leave comments and tell us, let Ann talk more, Drew. Things like that. Anything you want to tell me.
Anything you want to say, you go ahead. Well, we appreciate every one of you watching us, and continue to watch our journey as we keep going along this fantastic country of ours.
And learning from Drew's mistakes. See you from Texas.
Perfect.
Nice, but again, nice long driveway in and out.
Yep.
1 second.
That's a golf cart. Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Nice long driveway in and out.